What, gang? I am still a hard man.
The story of Jesus is one of the most influential narratives in human history, but how that story is understood varies greatly depending on who you ask. While the Gospels in the New Testament present Jesus as a savior who dies to atone for humanity's sins, the Gnostics, an early group of mystical Christians, saw him quite differently. For them, Jesus wasn't a redeemer of sin. He was a revealer of truth. He came not to fix the world, but to awaken us to the reality that this world as we know it is a trap. In this video, we're going to explore the gospel story of Jesus through the lens of the Gnostics. Using evidence from Gnostic texts like the Gospel of Thomas and the Gospel of Philip, we'll uncover a vision of Jesus that challenges conventional beliefs and offers a profound spiritual perspective on his mission. Before we dive into the story, let's take a moment to understand who the Gnostics were. The term Gnostic comes from the Greek word gnosis, which means knowledge. Not the everyday kind of knowledge you'd use to pass a test or build a bookshelf, but deep spiritual insight. For Gnostics, this kind of inner knowledge was the key to salvation. Here's the Gnostic big idea. The world as we know it is a trap. They believed that the material world, including our physical bodies, was the creation of a lesser deity they called the demiurge. According to Gnostic cosmology, the demiurge was a flawed and ignorant being who crafted the world and, in doing so, trapped pieces of divine light, or our souls, inside it. In this view, the physical body isn't necessarily evil, but it's a prison for the divine spark within us, a barrier that keeps us focused on the material instead of the spiritual. The Gnostics' goal wasn't to redeem the flesh, but to transcend it, awakening the divine spark inside and reconnecting with the true God, the unknowable source of all light and goodness. This is where Jesus comes into the picture, not as a figure of atonement, but as a guide to liberation, a divine emissary sent to help wake us up to the truth. We don't belong here. We're sparks of something much greater, and it's time to break free. In Gnostic thought, Jesus isn't just a man or even simply the Son of God. He's a revealer, a teacher, sent to guide humanity out of ignorance. In texts like the Gospel of Thomas, we find a Jesus who speaks cryptically, but powerfully, about self-knowledge and inner transformation. For example, in one passage he says, "The kingdom is inside you, and it is outside you. When you come to know yourselves, then you will be known, and you will realize that you are the children of the living Father." This teaching isn't about following a set of laws or rituals. It's about looking inward and discovering the divine spark within. To the Gnostics, salvation wasn't something you earned through good deeds or faith in an institution. It was something you awakened to, deep within yourself. And this focus on awakening, on transcending the illusions of the material world, also shaped how the Gnostics saw Jesus' mission. He wasn't here to fix the world or redeem the flesh. He was here to remind us all that we're not from this world at all. In Gnostic literature, Jesus' miracles are often interpreted symbolically, emphasizing spiritual enlightenment over physical acts. One example in the Gospel of Thomas, saying 108, states, Jesus said, "Whoever drinks from my mouth will become like me. I myself shall become that person, and the hidden things will be revealed to him." This saying suggests that the true understanding and revelation comes from internalizing Jesus' teachings, leading to spiritual transformation. The metaphor of drinking from my mouth implies absorbing wisdom, resulting in a profound inner change where the individual attains a state of unity with Jesus, and hidden spiritual truths become apparent. Such passages highlight the Gnostic view that Jesus' miracles and teachings were intended to awaken individuals to their divine nature and the deeper realities beyond the material world. Even Jesus' miracles take on a new meaning in the Gnostic context. Healing the blind wasn't just a physical act, it symbolized opening people's spiritual eyes. Walking on water represented mastery over the material world. These miracles weren't about defying.
Greetings, Sebastian Moran. How are you doing, sir? Greetings to the Forge Gang leader. What's up, Sebastian Moran? How are you doing? This is the Gnostic Jesus, a genuine Texas Ranger. Yes.
Nature, they were about revealing the ultimate power of the spirit over matter. Let's jump to the Garden of Gethsemane. You know the scene. Jesus is praying, sweating blood, asking the Father to let this cup pass from me. It's raw, emotional, and according to the Gnostics, completely misunderstood. So here's the deal. When Jesus says, "Let this cup pass from me," the Gnostics saw the cup as a symbol of the material world, the trap created by the demiurge. But then Jesus says, "Not my will, but yours be done." He's not giving in to the demiurge. He's aligning himself with the true God, the unknowable source of all light. This moment is about Jesus accepting his role as the divine revealer, the one who will wake humanity up from its spiritual slumber. Speaking of slumber, remember how his disciples couldn't stay awake? This is a central theme that resonates with the Gnostics. Their slumber represents humanity's state of ignorance, trapped in the illusions of the material world. In Gnostic thought, Jesus' mission is to wake the sleepers, to bring gnosis, or knowledge, and reveal the divine spark within. Could you not watch with me for 1 hour? This rebuke underscores the difficulty of spiritual awakening. Even in the presence of divine knowledge, the pull of the material world is strong, and most fail to recognize the higher truth. And then there's Judas, the villain of the story. Well, not exactly. In the Gnostic Gospel of Judas, Judas isn't the bad guy. He's the enlightened one. Very different perspective from what we know of the Gospels today. According to this text, Judas was the only disciple who truly understood Jesus' mission. Jesus even tells him, "But you will succeed all of them. You will sacrifice the man that clothes me." Translation: Judas helped Jesus escape his physical body, which, in the Gnostic view, was a prison. Judas didn't betray Jesus, he freed him. Now that's a controversial take. Alright, now let's talk about the Last Supper. This is where Jesus breaks the bread, pours the wine, and says, "This is my body, this is my blood." For Orthodox Christianity, this becomes the foundation of the Eucharist, a sacrament for forgiveness of sins. But the Gnostics, they saw something completely different. For them, the bread and wine weren't about physical sacrifice. They were symbols of spiritual nourishment. By partaking, the disciples weren't just joining a ritual. They were awakening to the divine knowledge Jesus was revealing. It wasn't about remembering his death. It was about realizing the divine spark within themselves. The Gospel of Philip says, "The cup of prayer contains wine and water, since it is appointed as a type of the blood." This is saying that the elements of the Eucharist are symbolic, pointing towards a deeper spiritual truth rather than serving as literal representations, which is actually similar to most Protestants today. As we heard from the Gospel of Thomas earlier, Whoever drinks from my mouth will become like me. I myself shall become that person, and the hidden things will be revealed to him. This saying underscores the Gnostic belief that true understanding and revelation comes from internalizing Jesus' teachings, leading to spiritual transformation and the revelation of hidden truths. So in Gnostic thought, the Last Supper is viewed not as a ritual for atonement, but as an allegory for the dissemination of esoteric knowledge and the path to spiritual awakening. For traditional Christians, the crucifixion is the cornerstone of salvation, Jesus dying for the sins of humanity. But for the Gnostics, it's something else entirely. Some Gnostic texts, like the Great Treatise of the Great Seth, suggest that the crucifixion was a trick played on the demiurge and his followers. One passage says, "It was another who drank the gall and the vinegar. It was not I. They struck me with the reed. It was another who bore the cross." From this perspective, Jesus' spirit remained untouched, even as his physical body appeared to suffer. The Gnostics saw this as a demonstration of the ultimate truth, that the material world and even death itself cannot harm the divine spark within us. The resurrection, too, wasn't about a physical body rising from the dead. It was about the triumph of the spirit over matter, the ultimate awakening. The Treatise on the Resurrection, a key Gnostic work, articulates this perspective. Do not think the resurrection is an illusion. It is no illusion, but it is truth. Indeed, it is more fitting to say that the world is an illusion rather than the resurrection. This passage is showing once again the Gnostic belief that the material world is transient and deceptive, whereas the resurrection represents a profound spiritual truth. The Gospel of Philip really drives this point home with a bold statement. Those who say they will die first and then rise are in error. If they do not receive the resurrection while they live, when they die they will receive nothing. So basically, the Gnostics believe that the resurrection isn't something that happens after you die. It's something you have to experience right now, in this life. It's about waking up to the truth of who you are while you're still here, not waiting around for a miracle in the afterlife. For them, spiritual growth and awakening were all about the present moment. The Gnostic story of Jesus isn't just a twist on a familiar tale. It's a complete reimagining. Instead of focusing on sin and atonement, it's about awakening, liberation, and self-knowledge. Jesus isn't here to fix a broken world. He's here to remind us that the world isn't our true home. And whether or not you align with the Gnostic worldview, their interpretation of Jesus offers a powerful reminder that spiritual truth is often hidden beneath the surface, waiting for us to seek it out. And perhaps, as the Gnostics believed, the kingdom of God really is within us, waiting to be discovered. So what do you think? Is Jesus the redeemer of sin, the revealer of truth, or even both? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this journey into Gnostic thought, please hit the like button, please subscribe, it really helps with the algorithm. We're trying to grow the channel here, we're obviously in the really early stages, and we know it's going to take time, but likes, subscriptions, hitting the notification bell, all that stuff helps so much. Let us know what topics you want us to talk about next. Anything you want to put in the comments, everything is super greatly appreciated. I make sure to go through every single comment and reply to them, so thank you so much for that. I'll talk to you next time as we explore more hidden wisdom from history's most fascinating texts.
All right. Sebastian Moran, great. Thank you, sir. You're welcome. Ready for battle tomorrow? Let's complete that level. Yes, sir. I'm going to do Ebionite Jesus next.